We begin this afternoon with breaking news we're following. Firefighters responding to a growing brush fire in San Mateo County. Welcome everyone to the 4 this afternoon. I'm Alex Savage.
And I'm Greg Lee. Cal Fire CZU units say the fire is burning in the area of Edgewood Road and Crestview Drive. Evacuations have now been ordered. You can take a look at our shot from Sky Fox here live as a lot of smoke is wafting into the air. You see a helicopter making moves. We've seen several retardant drops. Again, evacuations have been ordered. This is the Edgewood fire burning near Emerald Hills. Drivers on 280 in that area certainly will see that huge smoke and those plumes coming up.
Yeah, certainly it could potentially be a hazard for folks who are traveling along Interstate 280 through San Mateo County this afternoon. Let's quickly put up a map here just to give you a sense of where the fire is burning. Again, we have San Mateo County firefighters responding along with Cal Fire crews all to the area of Edgewood Road and Crestview Drive on the north end and Colton Court on the south end. That is the area where this fire is burning. That's near the Emerald Hills area, again, close to Redwood City.
Firefighters have called a second full response to help battle the flames. No injuries have yet been reported. Fire officials urge the public to avoid the area and certainly watch for emergency vehicles on the road.
Yeah, and again, we want to point out that there are evacuation orders that have been issued because, as you've seen from some of those shots, you do have homes that are pretty close by. For people who are evacuated, the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office did tweet out just a short time ago that they have set up a reunification center. That's going to be at Kenyatta College's theater here. So anyone who is forced to leave their home as a result of this brush fire should meet there at the Kenyatta College Theater. All right, we want to get some perspective from someone who's in that area right now, and to do that we have former KTVU reporter Lloyd LaQuesta, who lives in this part of San Mateo County, joining us now on the phone. Lloyd, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. How close are you to the fire, and what does it look like from your vantage point?
Well, Alex, if there's any reason for optimism, the skies are showing it, because what was once dark smoke rising in the air has now become sort of wispy white at a lower level. I'm a little bit to the south of the fire. I'm actually sort of, if anyone knows the area where Kenyatta College is, up on a hill. I'm on the slopes of Kenyatta College. And I first started seeing this about an hour ago when I was driving home, and a fire truck started coming up behind me. So I quickly rushed home and watched the progression of the fire. I just saw a helicopter make a drop right now down there. So it appears that they've got a hold of the fire. But I have to say that this area, if anyone's familiar with this part of Redwood City, sort of Woodside, it's very hilly, sort of like the Oakland Hills, a lot of trees, and it's very, very dry. So what's happening right now is something that the neighbors here, we've all been talking about this and having plans of if we have to get out in a hurry, we should be prepared. There is no evacuation in this area south of the fire, sort of the Emerald Hills Farm Hill area, for those who might be familiar with the hills of Redwood City. So I think there's reason for optimism. There's not as many helicopters up in the air now, and like I said, it's starting to become white smoke.
Yeah, certainly good news, Lloyd. We're looking at some pictures of the terrain that you talked about that firefighters are trying to make their way up into. All day, Lloyd, we've been talking about this very hot day. In addition to the dry conditions, what can you tell us about how the weather feels, how warm it has been in that area today?
Well, it's extremely warm, very, very hot, and the sun is beating down a lot. And as I said, you know, we're all up here very, very careful because of the amount of trees that we have. It's very, very forested up here, and we've already had, you know, warnings from fire officials about taking care of our property and make sure that there's a space between us and the trees, a safety barrier. So this just makes us more nervous because there's more yet to come, we know. And by the way, for a while, we sort of lost our power. It's back on now. I fortunately have one of these solar systems that kicks in when PG&E goes out. But that's another reason for concern, is that we realize that we could lose our power here, and the roads up in the hills here are very narrow, congested, and to get a big truck up here can be difficult. But again, I think we've we've escaped a possible big problem. I'm very hopeful, but now comes the cautionary part because there's still probably glowing embers. And fortunately, there is no wind blowing. If there was a wind blowing, then it could have really kicked this fire up, and that would have been a big problem.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Obviously extremely hot this afternoon, Lloyd, but when we look at a lot of the smoke that's coming up from the fire, it's tending to kind of waft straight up into the air for the most part, drift maybe slightly. So that's a good indication that you don't have any strong wind gusts. Before we let you go, Lloyd, we're looking at these live pictures from the vantage point of the helicopter. It certainly looks like parts of the fire seem to be relatively close to some of the homes, especially up on one of the ridge lines we're looking at. From your perspective, can you tell how close the flames are to any of the homes in that area?
Well, I can't really look down to that area. It's Edgewood Park is that area where it probably started, and there's like two different areas. To the north of Edgewood Road are basically homes that are sort of a track, suburban type of setting.
Sure.
To the south where I live, these are homes that are sort of set in bigger lots and just surrounded by trees. Very often you don't see the houses, but there are a lot of houses in this area dotting the hillside. And so I'm sure a lot of people are very nervous right now.
All right, well, hopefully, as you said, fire crews are able to get a handle on this fire here pretty quickly this afternoon. And again, as you said, it's hopefully one of those cautionary tales for folks when you live there close to that kind of vegetation, where you have that urban interface with the wildland. I really appreciate you taking the time and for your perspective this afternoon. Nice to talk with you, former KTVU reporter Lloyd LaQuesta. Take care. We appreciate it.
Take care. Thank you.
All right, we want to give you some more information about those evacuations we told you about. This was tweeted out by the San Mateo County Sheriff's Department showing the evacuation zones north of 280. If you live in the red zone here, you must evacuate. If you're in the yellow zone, they are recommending you leave. There's an evacuation center, as we've been saying, at the Kenyatta College Theater.
All right.